a player. The player with different accolades. I'm a maestro. I'm a wizard. I'm polo to polo. I'm wonder boy. I'm player extraordinaire. I'm scientist footballer. Different accolades. And you are in the country. I became a coach from showing to the whole Ghana public that this man, after footballing, he will become a coach because I became a coach player.
I'm quite Sunday. My fair clock. Where Danike? My fair clock a galley. Nipaposto. When you have to take a boboli, you have to look of you. Bobon was it.
No nuaka, in a bay, some of you by Miniba.
Oh, Messi, bay. I can hear your yake into machine. Bammy, or local fee. Oh, look back. My name into machine.
More often a bone and tower lager or you.
Oh, look, fine. And I was on get shift of Lengelengeko. A year won't know me, will expect you fine. Ninja 7 is J. No go buy here fine. She may go make a poison. One need tree but for few shinami. You can go Europe and get poison go.
Coaching is putting your thinking into action. That is all what coaching is about. Now, I studied them, I showed them, I revisited the match they played against us. Then I saw that we gave them enough space to operate because they are full of techniques. The boys, the 14, 20, 10, 8, 12. Very with the ball when you give them space. So we try something called tracking and getting free. Track them, get free and play. So we deny them the space for them to maneuver.
In terms of power play, it's zilch. If you watch our game against Mali, the young man was running away from taking the ball.
He didn't want it. Give me away.
He was practically running away. He was running away when we were being marooned and we were under attack from the Malians, and he had the opportunity of staking a claim in the team. Anytime an attempt was made to him with the ball, with the pass,
he's running away.
He's running away, leaving the ball,
hiding
behind opponent. This whole Telemundo, it's something that sometimes
for the uninitiated, Telemundo is a channel that shows telenovelas.
Yes.
So this is like a soap opera.
It's like a soap opera. This clearly is a soap opera. It's winding down. So let's call Extramadura man from Extramadura man. Bola. When the boy is coming to the player, he's running away. You know what's the game? And shockingly, there's a certain miraculous acrobatism.
Na message said there, masin san players akuku da mama mutim na gina masa. Players be na masin san. Team na no aye hye. Team wo de bubo players na mama. Sakim CH. Where? Sakim CH. Aha. Team over na. What's that? Team over na. Aha. Cavers. Why? Cavers. Cavers mu nyina ya san omo. Eze sister sikupulator mu nya bi mo. Sister sikupulator onya bi mo. Ayi omo say ayi Brazil anyway. Ya sign no. Brazil ni bay. Omo fẹ́ no wa say silver so wa. Tiago Silva. Aha. Tiago Silva. Eze
me the Felix you will get stand. My son be say me Adamu. I no go need my job. Go marry. No, you see, I don't need my job. Go marry.
So you refuse to punish him.
They know the punishment. It serves you right. No, not the punishment. See, you choose. You choose love over job. That is exactly what you do. Because see what Richard go do. Football no day. Richard go marry.
Yeah.
So with the footballer, see, from August 2019 to December 29, we don't play football. No marry. We start league after we fall. He said they go marry.
That be the time where money catch.
No. So you choose love over career. And so if today you get your lover, the coach say they give you more time to go chop love. So it's not a big deal. Me, I guess that I thought this matter.
Does Don Bote still want to play football? You are 36 years old.
Forget about the age.
We cannot forget about the age, Don. You are 36.
Yeah, 36. You doubt 36. Inami, Forget about the age. What you want me to come and do for you?
You still think you can perform at the highest level?
Why?
In Ghana?
Yeah. Not in Ghana, sir.
Anywhere?
Yeah.
You train?
Serious.
By yourself?
Always.
Why don't you want to join a club and train?
You see, that's what I'm saying. Them themselves, they don't believe themselves. The coaches don't believe themselves. They are not real coaches. They don't. You have to believe yourself that no, this guy can do it for me. If you believe me, I can do it. But so far as you just relax yourself, no. If I come safe, I won't get that spirit because you don't believe me.
So you think that if a Premier League team were to give you an opportunity to play, you would make an impact?
Ghana, yeah.
Yes.
I can play past all the current players.
That's
the current players in Ghana Premier League.
That's a serious statement coming from somebody who hasn't played in almost a year.
You know something? I know myself. That's why I said, if you don't know me, you don't know me.
You see, as for a game, like when you get a chance, every blessed player will decide to score, and then will decide to catch the ball. So when you both decide together, then you miss the chance. I decide differently, and he also decide differently, and our decision was together. That's why he was able to catch the ball. So I think next time I'll raise my head and watch the goal post and put the ball.
Welcome and welcome again to the best 90 minutes of your life. Sports Panorama, Benjamin and Ketia here. We are live. In just about 45 minutes or so, Ghana's Black Meteors, the under-23 team, will be playing their third game of the ongoing AFCON under-23 tournament. Remember, Ghana has a win and a heavy defeat on the resume. Ghana's opponents tonight, Guinea, need just a draw to make it to the next stage. The lineups are out for that one already. The big news from that one is that Enes Nuama, the star boy, has been dropped to the bench. Big news. Also, a document popped up this week. Amazing stuff. You know, the FA elections. We still don't have a date for the elections. As things stand, football people are being told by the Ghana Football Association that if you intend to run for the presidency, you need to be able to fork out 50,000 Ghana cedis. Big hike. Also, a petition has arrived this evening. New Edubiase Football Club say they have no understanding of the current climate where a date has not been set for the election, but there's a looming extraordinary Congress coming. They want some clarification because they believe that an election must be held this year, and the fact that there's no set date at this point makes things very murky. On the foreign front, oh, Charlie Dominic, Soboslai. Sobo Slide. Sobo of life. Oh, Charlie. Oh, Charlie.
Sabolai.
Dominic Sobo Slide. Somebody too has spent 60 million on Mason Mount. Hey! What are you building? What are you building? 60 million on Mason Mount. What are you building? What are you building?
It's an established Premier League.
Okay. We'll get there in a bit. Show proudly brought to us by Bell Beverages. Specifically, Puka. Non-alcoholic herbal drink. Recharge the African way. Big shout outs to Jude from Kakasunanka. Please send me a message. The people at Bell Beverages want to get in touch. So please send me a message, Jude from Kakasunanka. Show also proudly brought to us by Shell Helix. Say everybody's looking for that one thing that pushes them to bring out their best and enables them to reach peak performance. And your car wants this too. And that's why your best bet is to give it Shell Helix engine oil, lubricants mo in Koswa Hene. Now, Shell Helix is specially designed to bring the best out of your engine, protecting it from wear and tear, while providing the power and performance needed to give you the best ride every time. So whether you are cruising on the open road or battling with busy traffic, Shell Helix will keep your engine running smoothly. Choose Shell Helix lubricants mo in Koswa Hene for the ultimate power, performance, and protection. Visit your local Shell station today and experience the difference for yourself. Rabbi, we are at the end of the month. It is only right that with all the things happening, you say a prayer to usher us into the show. Please, thank you.
Yo, I want Babu fight. Any be a shell, okay, form a shell like that. When it's so anima, so anama, so yo was Zebaut. Jehovah Zebaut. 1-4-1 Chabo, eh? Ghana 4-1-4 Chabo. What football left him on 50. Blasters first round. Starlet, no qualification. Satellite, no qualification. Maidens, Abanu. Black Queen, Dukadaya. Ima wa shene yo wa bahele wo bahele wo. She won near fe mobo. Back na shine won Chabo. Waka bodanche onye wo here. Nyama black meteors be a here. Na me fe no ko. She first round nele na wacho. Comoros, Uruguay. Just I'm a first round. Na je wo ye me. Wo be Messi ye ko, wo be Ronaldo ye ko. Many wo yo am no rocket here. Wa me wale na me twa ball ke wa wo. Eni bi a shele for me shele gba. Okay yo wa jemo epo. Mo ni she enyumo gbe ye le fi on nepotism kenyo. Ka o she enyumo gbe ye. No ya wele o wokume keni bi no atwo man ntwo na me nana wokenye yu akenye gba fenye pa wona ko wi shimene program gbele mo oda no jo wodwemo no wonye o ka yu anukale hanga na ma bi election say e baba no aba fon shiki e election say aba fon shiki e me o shiki okay over achieve you have over achieve ka overachieve there. Me no oshik be. Oshika phone na ka wobo. Me ni be oshio. Yo anyema here. No here wo football e keje enyelo ade. Ya Yesu ba me. Amen.
Amen. Powerful prayer.
Very powerful. Very powerful.
Wow, Rabbi.
No na be in Chipuka I say.
Oh, Charlie. Oh, femini. Chi what?
In Chipuka I say.
Thank you, my brother. Let's get into the show and let's start off from the doorsteps of the FA because that's where all the action really has been this week. Now, first thing that happened this week was a document that emerged. Now, on speaking to a few football people, this was circulated to clubs and the stakeholders of Ghana football. Now, Pichichi, you have the letter in front of you.
Yes.
Please just do us the honors by reading the most essential parts of this letter.
All right.
I believe this is signed, not the new Edubiase petition, the actual FA letter. Yes, you can pull that out. In the meantime, you can text into the show 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. You can also get to me on Twitter. Get to me at Kojo Nketia. Use the hashtag Sports Panorama. Pichichi, please let's hear that letter.
All right, so it's a letter dated 24th June 2023, signed by the GFA General Secretary, Prosper Harrisonado Esquire. And it says the Executive Council conveys its compliments to the respected Congress of the Ghana Football Association. It has 3 points. One is legal basis. 2 is proposal for approval of GFA elections nomination fees. And then the 3 is proposal. So let me highlight the essential part, which is the point 2, talking about the nomination fees. Now, for the president, it's more like a table. So there is the position, 2019 election figures, new proposal, and then the reasons.
Thank you.
Now, for the president, it says 2019 election, there's 5,000 Ghana Cedi there. And the new proposal is that it will be taken to 50,000 Ghana cedis.
Hold your thoughts there. So for listeners, this means that in 2019, when Ket contested the presidency with Nanaya Amponsa, Georgia Free, the filing fee then for the presidency was 50 million. That's old Ghana cedis, 50 million. 5,000 Ghana cedis. I just had to say 50 million. So 5,000 Ghana cedis. Now it's at 50,000 Ghana cedis.
So that's 900.
So that's 500 million old cedis.
Yes. Good. And percentage-wise, that's 900% increase.
Wow.
Yes. And Executive Council, 2019, the figure was 2,500. Now it's 15,000 Ghana cedi proposed. And let me go quickly to the reasons. Now the reason is this. Due to the current cost of administering GFA elections, logistics, transport, accommodation cost, etc. That's the reasons for these figures that the GFA is proposing, that when they get to Congress, they will deliberate on this and then approve or reject this at the Key University 10th July.
Thank God they didn't mention Russia.
Talk about how the regional regional FAs in there.
Yes.
Regional FAs, how much are they supposed to pay?
For the RFA chairman, it moves from 2,500 to 10,000 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
And then for RFA members who want slots on the Executive Council, they were paying 2,500. Now it's 10,000 Ghana cedis. Now, if you want to be on your RFA Executive Council, you have to file a fee of 5,000 Ghana cedis now.
Wow.
For district chairman, theirs is 1,000 Ghana cedis. And then the district Executive Council is 500 Ghana cedis. And then if you're a female aspirant, you pay 50% of the fee.
Football has become expensive officially.
So there you have it now.
Okay.
A quick one, the RFA Executive Council is 2,000 Ghana cedis.
2,000 Ghana, not 2,500. Yeah. Okay, so that's well settled. My good friend, Coach Christopher Nimley is here. You have your documents in front of you today. Coach, I'm sure you've heard about this issue with the filing fees. I won't
get into it small. You come back
I won't come back to you. Hold on. Let's add the new Edubiase incident or the petition because it feeds right into this. So this letter also dropped just this evening.
Yes.
Where new Edubiase Football Club have raised some concerns with regards to a few issues concerning the FA. If you can just bring us up to speed on the key merits of the issues that they are raising.
Okay, so it's a 5-page document written by Alex Akume, executive or the CEO for New Edubiase United. He addresses this to the General Secretary of the GFA, that's Prosper Harrisonado, and attention or copy to the chairman of the Elections Committee. At the moment, I don't know who is that person because the mandate of the last committee has ended already. It says, dear sir, with the headline of election of GFA president at Ordinary Congress for the year 2023-2024 season. Now, point 3 highlights one key issue here, and it says that as stipulated in Article 32, Clause 2Q of the GFA statutes, the inclusion of the election of president in the agenda of an ordinary Congress is mandatory. And then it says, as a result, the upcoming ordinary Congress necessitates the inclusion of the presidential election as a compulsory item on the agenda, bearing in mind that any attempt to have the elections next year will have meant that you plan to stay beyond your term limit. Now, point 5 says that, unfortunately, the agenda sent to the clubs did not include the mandatory provision in the GFA statutes. That's what I quote earlier. So, in the release sent to the clubs for the upcoming Congress, the GFA has not captured the formation of the elections committee. And that's what the huge issue is, that if there's no elections committee, how will the elections be conducted this year?
Yeah. As of now, we should know where it will, proposals for where it would happen,
exactly,
when it will happen, and then, like you're saying,
so the framework for the whole election.
I remember there was an integrity committee to run integrity checks on anybody who wanted to. Yeah, virtually a vetting committee of some sort. So we don't have any of that now.
Yeah, let me raise final 2 points in the letter. It says, point C says, having gone through the agenda, we rather find that the Executive Council of the GFA proposed in item 12 of the agenda an approval of GFA elections nominations fee. And it's asking, on what basis are we going to discuss this matter when members do not even know when the GFA elections will be held? So that's the question they're asking there as well. And then when you go all the way to the point 18, it says, we have also been made aware of the GFA's deliberate attitude of coercing some members of the GFA to secretly, that's underlined and bolded as well, sign documents in order to postpone the GFA elections, which is arguably supposed to take place this year to a later date. B, coercing some members of the GFA to secretly sign documents giving the authority of the GFA Executive Council to amend Articles 31 and 32, and in particular Article 32 2Q of the GFA Statutes 2019. So that's some of the basis of the concerns raised by Alex Akume here, that one, they don't know the roadmap to form the new elections committee. Two, the GFA is secretly making some members sign documents to have the elections postponed. And also, the nominations fee has been released, but they don't know the roadmap for the elections. So what are they paying for?
Very, very interesting.
And then coercing members to change some parts of the statutes as well. You know, we talk about that mandate extension from 2 to 3. So also captured in the proposal, or not the proposal, the sort of concerns raised by Alex Akume to the GFA.
Now, club.
My quick one on this before Coach comes in.
No, yes, please go ahead.
Now, for me, I look at the sort of tactics deployed. Yes, let me know what tactics deployed. And I think something is clear here. That it's either the current GFA is scared of the upcoming election, or
the FA that has overachieved.
No, because if you're not scared about something, I don't understand so many things that's ongoing here. Now, I look at the figures involved from 5,000 to 50,000. I was thinking about it. Okay, what could be the reasons aside the cost of the elections, which we don't even know? What's the budget for the whole elections? The last elections we did in 2019, I don't think that if we were buying ink and stapler and those things in 2019
for 123 delegates, I suppose. Yeah.
I mean, in 4 years, of course, we have to put things into context. You know, COVID, Russia, Ukraine, because the Russia-Ukraine war is just next door. So as next door neighbors to Russia and Ukraine, we have been affected.
I mean, I hear no call Russia. I hear no call Ukraine.
No, you can't tell. Yes, COVID has made the cost of what? The ink and the stapler and the
supply. Again, right? Just to put this in perspective, I feel like, again, just before you even go on, if the FA is floating this document to the clubs, telling the clubs that fees for the election have been increased, it is only prudent that you tell the clubs how much is expected to be spent on the upcoming election in totality.
Exactly.
So everybody puts everything in perspective. Okay, so we know that we are spending 200,000 Ghana cedis, and that is why you need to pay 50,000. So I feel like, again, this has no legs, but go on, please.
So I was thinking of the pros and cons. And for the pros, for me, I don't buy the reasons given, the cost of the elections. Because if it's just the cost of elections, I don't see why you need a 900% increase from the previous figures. Now, one, for the pros, I think that what the GFA may want to do is to cut the number of contestants. That's the pro.
Why? Why would they want to do that?
It makes sense to try and make sure that not many people contest in the elections, so that it will be a straightforward fight between the incumbent and then his opponent.
It's a democratic process.
Just a second. Many people filing to contest doesn't mean they will contest. Because you have to get a certain number of endorsements.
But we saw
you qualify. And a club cannot sign for more than one.
Or maybe because they've delayed the process, they don't want to delay it any further. So by increasing the amount you have to pay for the nomination form, it decreases the number of people.
It's a way of eliminating.
They have to go through the vetting process and reduce the time.
If that was the thing, he would already have a date for election.
You look at the last 2019 elections, 5,000 Ghana citizens, and we had lawyer Amanda Clinton coming on board. There is George Ankama?
Yeah.
Also coming on board. So I think that this is to try and cut.
You've mentioned him, Paul.
to try and make the figures a little higher, so that people will have second thoughts in trying to just file nominations. And so the smaller the number, the easier it is to just focus on your opponent in the elections.
Point made.
Two, I also think that the reason for this could be that maybe they want to fund a organized elections. So the more money you have, the higher chance you have of organizing elections well. And three, this elections is an elections for money to be spent. And so I think this is a strategy to try and make sure that anyone coming on board, his budget will be affected slightly. Because if you're already going to file with 50,000 Ghana cedis, meaning that your budget will slightly be hit, because we know what goes into the GFA elections.
Slightly?
We know what goes into the GFA elections, trying to bust your delegates, trying to feed them and all that. So if I raise the figures to this amount, automatically I hit your budget a little. So this will be the pros to try to raise this amount. Now I look at what this could mean, and for me, I think economically it doesn't make sense, because whoever pays these figures will try to get it back again when he wins the elections.
But 50,000 is peanuts.
Exactly.
It's peanuts.
Not to football people. Not to football people, especially when...
let's say you win the GFA, you become the GFA president. Yeah. I mean, 50,000 for GFA president, looking at the amount of money that's budgeted for...
Let's not restrict this just to the presidency. Don't forget that
the other
RFAs,
positions as well.
Executive committee, all those have been significantly increased.
Yeah. And for me, once again, I look at the negatives as this. When the nomination fee is high, obviously the lobbying fees will also be high. The monies that will be needed to try and lobby people also go high, and so delegates will be richer. And it's tricky for Ghana football. Now, I look at the whole scenario and the reasons given and all that, and I feel that there's something not right somewhere. Oh yes, there's something not right. And I'm surprised that the football clubs have not raised any concerns yet. I know some of them may be concerned about that. If they raise concerns, their clubs may be affected next season and all that. But see, the fact is the fact.
Silence in our
football. There is. Have you heard anyone complain about these figures all week?
I think that what will be interesting is for us to be present at that Congress. I feel like when you are at a Congress, it's very hard for people to hide how they feel. But you go ahead, please. Just wrap up.
In summing up, the elections must happen this year. I've looked at how people feel about Keto Kraku, and I think that any, trick or any reason that they may give to make sure that this election doesn't happen this year will not hold. I've listened to several people, and I feel that for his own integrity, for his own image, they need to quickly amend the documents, make sure that the next Congress that they are going in Kumasi, they get the elections committee formed. For me, I think that he's favored to win the next elections. Personally, I think it's difficult for an incumbent president to lose his seat in Ghana. It's mostly difficult. For the various associations, even when you go down to the other disciplines, their presidents hardly lose their seats. He's in a comfortable lead, in my view. His favorite. His favorite for me. You see, so for me, all this sort of issues and shenanigans are surprising, because it started when he did that interview with Gillette Bewa, and he was asked, whether there'll be elections this year, and he was like, he doesn't know. That response clearly made me think, why would the president say he doesn't know when this is his final year? By now, he should be telling us that yes, he's sure.
Saying you don't know is like saying that you intend to stay beyond your mandate.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Which cannot happen.
It's
because,
as simple as that.
After October,
he cannot carry himself as president of Ghana Football Association. And
for me, all the reasons that I've heard that they are going behind the scenes, signing documents and all that, I think that he needs to stop all that. For me, he's in a comfortable lead. I think that he has a chance to win the elections. He just needs to play fair and he'll get what he wants again, a second chance.
Coach,
no more.
Filing fees.
Kashegbe Shimi Keboyo Kakwekwe Ohe Shimi Ji Onyumole. What are you afraid of? You have overachieved. What are you afraid of? Come and tell me. Tell your people they should stop calling me.
But he said he said he wants election expenses have gone up.
You understand the song?
I do understand.
For those who don't understand the song,
don't be afraid.
I can't believe you don't understand.
I am your Lord.
I am your Lord.
Oh, Charlie.
Your God.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. Kashegbe Shimi Keboyo. I'll get Kakwekwe Ohe Shimi Jonyumole. Nkalala bawaje.
You need to explain.
But he sang the song.
Oh, the song.
Yes. Then the last thing he said was that he will end it here.
I could continue, but I'll end it there. Look, in life, when you fear God and you know that your destiny is not in your hands, but there's the supreme God that controls even, look, the oxygen you breathe in.
Preach.
And the carbon dioxide you breathe out. Then you do things in a very circumspect way. Look, we should learn to be afraid, and we should learn to fear God. It is when you fear God, that is where you respect the system. You will do absolutely nothing to destroy the same mechanism that brought you to power. Look, I teach, I drink, I sleep chemistry.
Thank you.
One reason why I enjoy chemistry, especially the organic aspect of chemistry, is because of the mechanism that reveals how all the organic reactions occur. And if you understand what mechanism is all about, you dare not, I repeat, you dare not do anything to undo the stepwise process leading to the end of every mechanism. You have to allow it to flow. What are you afraid of if you have overachieved? Look, that should be one of the reasons why you should beat your chest with all humility and audacity and say, look, I'm growing from me. Why are me? Because if you can exhibit gross level of nepotism, you'll be afraid to go for the elections. I repeat, if you can exhibit gross level of nepotism, you'll be afraid to go for the. If you could tell the whole country that you are coming in as FA president to create wealth for who? For all.
Wealth for all.
He sat in the chair where Pichichi is sitting, and I sat here that day when he said, under my administration, football will create wealth for everybody. But I am going to give a teaser today. I will mention certain names here, and I'll leave it like that. Next week, I will expose the first point, the first reason why the man cannot go for the election. Pichichi says he's in a comfortable lead. Pneumonia tau shatawale lalami. Oh, tashi o twati. Oh, tashi o twati. Get. Oh, tashi o twati. They know about twati o tan. No me trying vessel. Let's say, on at more, leza, kakbe, aje leza, ye, ina ni ojugba. Obanani! I'm telling you, you will see.
Why are you?
Because at the end of the day, you need to see as the leader to ensure that our football get to where it has to get to. Look at the level of nepotism. David Alifo, Aminu Shadow, Henry Chum Asante,
Why are you mentioning?
Winifred Okreku, Mrs. Maudeku, Teresa Nelly Sleepy Mensa, Ibrahim Dose Adam, Michael Osekre, Prosper Harrison Ado, Daniel Yankee, Malik Mumuni, Sule Zampa, Zampa, Haruna Seidu, Romeo Ricky Roy, Charlie Padiagbe rhyme away, Romeo Ricky Roy, Lakabo, Winfred Dormon, Jamel, Marabi, Dr. Philemon Mensa, and Amma Brobe Williams.
Who are these
Next
people?
week, I will expose the level of nepotism of all these people under Ketu Keku. These are people who have close ties with Ketu Keku, and they are the people amassing wealth in our football. The position given to them by this Ketu Keku man is the only reason why, or one of the fundamental reasons why he cannot go for the election. He
Why?
said what? From 5,000 to what? 50,000. From 5 million, from 50 million to 500 million Ghana City. Oh, the chairman of the normalization, what is his name?
Dr. Kofi Annan.
Dr. Kofi Annan, if you know your job, you saw the need to open up for football people like Ketu Kreku, like George Free, like Amanda. What's the name?
Amanda Clinton.
Clinton Esquire.
To come out to contest in an election process that, in my view, was very transparent, but I still don't understand why Wilfred Kweku Osepama was disqualified. But we have to live by it and move on. In Ketia, the man has overachieved. To the football people, this is just the beginning. When you go to Congress, tell the man, it is mandatory that at that Congress, the presidential election of the Ghana Football Association should be mandatory. It should be put forward. Where is the roadmap? Mr. President, where is, look, lawyer Prosper Harrison Ado Esquire.
Your good friend.
You are you are one of the best legal brains. The last thing you will ever do is to tamper with rules or constitutional matters of football in this country. Me, I have seen the document that they've given to football people to sign. You see, when you do these things, it is the same people who call us and show the thing. It will be a document.
And you Dubiase have stated this
yes,
in their letter.
Amekaba was signed, now postpone the election. To what? Your era ends as a president. If you want to continue, you need to seek re-election. That is the law. That is the rule. That is what the FA Constitution says. Seek re-election so that you'll be respected as such, so that you'll be given the necessary honor, the mandate to rule our football. We sit here, we will not accept another first round disgrace in Morocco. We will come there, pray, because it is becoming overly shambolic. It's unacceptable. It is unacceptable. And like I'm saying, for nepotism reason and so many other reasons, which I've always been telling people that as we get closer and closer to the elections, no more. I trust the football people. Now, football is made of, there's cash in football. And everybody should have access to that cash. Not a few people hijacking the system, manipulating the system to suit them. Look, for me, the people on the ESCO, we know the sort of things some of you said. We will play back some voices of certain prominent ESCO members when they were very vocal under Kwesi Nyantechi's era. Things that were not even done in this way. You spoke your mind. Why have you gone quiet? Please, you are losing your respect and your integrity with the people of this country. Come out, because what is being experienced now is absolutely unprecedented. It's ganganto. It's legendary. Don't do that. I will not mention names concerning this, but next week, when I give the position, the role of how these people I've mentioned, how they are related to Keto Kreku and the role they have played and their current role in the Ghana football, then I'll hit that other one too as a teaser. Every week, I'm bringing out new teasers. And the football people, the delegates, those in charge of who will rule Ghana football for the next 4 years, won't panify. Common sense should prevail. This man is creating wealth for his people, his family members, his brothers, his sisters, his cousins, even his white man who controls his somehow the shipping. Look, the sort of revelation I will bring here next week.
They are alleged.
No, okay, for now they are alleged. That's what I'm using as a teaser. To next week, then I'll support with the document. Support when I give you when I leave you, I'll give you your copy.
Thank you.
I've already given copy to
Council.
Council. He has a copy.
Thank you.
Take me to court.
Nathan. Monumentally increased fees. No election date.
You have overachieved. You see, they've tested the waters. They've gone down. They've tested the waters. When you are sinking, obey down. Okay. Fale kelenya, fale kelenya. Fale kelenya, fale kelenya. Mokobinu kometo. Fale kelenya, mokobinu kometo.
By the fireside.
If the river or if the sea is taking you away, there's no tree or stone to hold. No more, you will sink. You will get drowned. In 3 days' time.
Nathan.
Look, I think Pichichi and Chris have said a lot. What I want to talk about, not necessarily about the elections and everything, but as I think about all these things that are happening in Ghana football, I always ask myself certain basic questions. Question number one, when we do all of these things, do we tell ourselves that this thing called football, we really want to do it? I don't know if you guys have been thinking about this, but I have been thinking about it. That this thing called football, do we really, really want to do it? Or we want to tell ourselves hey, Enoch, behave yourself in the text message. What is the meaning of this?
Nathan, please go ahead.
So I keep asking myself, like, do we really, really want to do this? Where in the last 3 to 4 years, things have not just worked well. It's one national team getting thrown out of a competition, one national team falling short at the first hurdle, another national team not even qualifying at all. That's what I'm saying. Like, we got thrown out of a competition. A league finally ends, thank God, but we look at the prize money all over the place. Our clubs haven't done well on the continent for God knows how long. Our under-23s are going into a match of their lives. Not only them, but Ibrahim Tanko, because if this team doesn't qualify this evening, I don't think he has any business handling any national team. So I keep asking myself, this thing called football, are we sure we want to do it? Or because everybody's doing it, we are also, Because, Ben, we are really not acting like a serious football country. And my feelings towards Ghana football were further saddened. Not saddened per se, but there's a video that's flying around social of the deputy sports minister. What was his name?
Evans Bobier.
Yes, Evans Bobier, your namesake. Yeah. Talking about the things he saw in Morocco.
The things he's seen in
he's still there. The things he has seen.
He has given up on us.
you know, to the extent that I don't know whether he said it in the tape, but some people are alleging he said that even the 5-1 that we lost, Charlie, was a bit of a merciful score. Be that as it may, you see, he's seeing that. And I'm sure he's asking himself, so what are we doing? Clearly, we are not doing anything.
So he's saying that what he has seen is in Morocco, Ghana is not ready for a trophy.
I'm happy. You see,
what he has seen in Morocco.
That is a different
What he has seen in Morocco.
I'm happy.
What he has seen in Morocco alone tells us that.
Guys, and I'm happy. My soul. Do you know why? Because for the first time, I'm coming. At least for the first time, it didn't come from us. As media people, because there are some people, as soon as they hear media men say these things, they say we are bad.
Oh yeah, they say
we
it
are
always.
evil. They say we are anti-FA. There's a message that constantly comes in on a Friday. A particular texter who always says that we don't like the FA, we are anti-FA, and Chris is anti-FA, and we allow him to bash the FA, and all that hogwash. Because it is nonsense. Really, what the person is texting is absolute nonsense. Listen, when you are the fourth estate of the realm, you hold the leaders' feet to the fire of accountability and tell them that you are not doing your work well. Do it well. Look at where we are as a country. Look at the state of our pitches. Look at the state of our national teams. Look at the state of football we play in this country. Look at what other countries are doing. And like I said, I'm happy that it is the Deputy Sports Minister who has finally woken up to the reality.
Yeah, he has seen the light.
That what we are doing here are jokes. I watched a TV series, a maid in there had a confrontation with her boyfriend. She said, "You are joking jokes."
Imagine.
You understand? So I'm happy that the Deputy Sports Minister has seen it.
Did you see the expression on his face while he spoke?
You could tell.
I thought so.
Yes,
evidence was overwhelming.
Like that now, we are
it was overwhelming. Like you couldn't even speak.
The Moroccans have shown him something small, and he has.
This man is a very honest man. He spoke to somebody sometime when the chant team went to the look, and the sort of revelation he said, I cannot say it here. Look, but he's a very. I'm not surprised he's speaking like this. He's a very honest man.
So somebody will ask, what has that got to do with? What has that got to do with anything? It has to do with everything. Because I cannot understand why the handlers of our game, I'm sure they know I'm sure they are trying, but the point is that, Charlie, there's a lot more work to do.
Nathan, they are more conversant with the reality than you and I.
Yes, and they know.
No, they are selfish people. See, because the people in Morocco, the Moroccan FA, go and see what their World Cup money
is doing for them.
And
they are not sharing 100,000
and even they, when they don't perform, they resign.
They resign. You see, they are not sharing 100,000 per management member.
Look, in other countries where their football is at the top level, they are hoping to take it out of this world into another galaxy.
Into another realm.
To be the pace setter for the next level.
So we need to do better. So I expect the people running the FA, as I bring it home, to understand that if in the cycle of things, there is an election to be held, get that election done.
Exactly.
Yeah. Get it done. You see, because the continuity, remember, the life of Ghana football hangs on this election, because this election breaks a cycle, starts a new one, and because football in this country, the way we run it, it can't exist without the GFA. Football cannot exist without any football association anyway. So I really, really expect the GFA to be up and doing. If there's an election, gather everything together. If there are papers to be signed, get those papers signed. If there's a period for campaign, open the campaign doors. Let people campaign. And do not be afraid of the people's verdict. You see, because if you want to alter what the people want, you see, it comes back to bite you horribly. You can suppress the will of the people at a point, but you can't do it all the time. So the people running the you see, me and all of us in this parish, and everybody who listens to me will know that I always like to keep it fair. So maybe for argument's sake, the FA is not trying to shut anybody down, or the FA is not trying to gag anybody, or they are not trying to do anything clandestine. If that is the case, they should let the process flow. Today is the last working day of June.
Yep.
October is not far
If we
away.
intend to have an election, we
By
should
this
know.
time, we
Yep.
should have been almost ready.
Yep.
Then we go and vote.
We go and vet even. I mean,
Yes,
you can
vet,
ask-
all
Yeah.
those things, all those things.
The-
And then we move.
When the man had the opportunity, no more.
He was asked
to
directly.
speak on the matter.
He said he's not sure if there'll be an election.
If any Juliet, you mad Juliet.
Oh, Charlie.
This is something.
Julie Jew.
Yesterday was Julie Jew's birthday.
Julie Jew.
Belated birthday, young
Lady,
lady.
Lady Ballo.
Lady Jew.
Oh,
Lady
Jules.
Ballo,
Lady
Oh,
Jew.
Jules.
No matter job, wherever she is.
Yeah.
It was a direct question.
Yeah.
And for you to have the president of the FA saying he does not know whether
Anyway,
there'll be an
so
election.
as I conclude, I hope that
Meaningful.
in the coming days, we'll get better clarity from the Ghana FA. Because the election, not only does it concern them, because in any case, they are the people who go and vote, but it affects all of us because football is the game we love. Football is the reason why sometimes my wife leaves me and goes to sleep because I'm there watching Black Meteors,
Thank you.
Black Stars. And then won't you sleep? I say I'm writing stories. Won't you sleep? I'm sending stories to Ben. Won't you sleep? I'm looking for
Meanwhile,
pictures. Meanwhile, the people running the look at some of the things. Eh?
Want to send a signed document
So,
to
please.
FIFA so that they accept that
For
the
what?
election should be forward.
For what?
What is all this?
Look, if all these
You have
it's
overachieved.
unfair. The people at the FA, my very good friends, there, please, if there's an election to run, do that election. Because you see, the life, like I said, the life of your association and football in this country hangs on that election. We need that election to happen. For me, I'm not too concerned about who wins, who loses. Me, it's Ghana football I'm concerned
That is
about.
the fundamental reason we are all here. No more.
You know, so if there's an election, let's get everything going.
Yeah.
And anyway, as for the filing fees, me, I have nothing to say. My concern is that if there's a process, let us kickstart that process
I'm
and
filing
move.
fee like 100 million. What about pay? What about pay now for Shiki?
are you contesting?
I'm telling you, if they like, they should take it from 50,000 to 100,000 to 150,000.
Even those who want to contest
we
will
will
contest.
pay this man. He says we contest him. Who contest me?
Coach is contesting the election. Wow. Let me read a few messages and then we'll talk about the Black Meteors. Uncle Sicho says, Wakeleg Binomo in Coach Nimli's voice. Osimen to Man U, Aye Beans. Oh, this man. Jude from Kakasunanka, please take his number for me. Jude from Kakasunanka. He says, we are setting fire this season with timber to harvest white rice and party. The Arsenal is back.
Guy.
Yo,
It's lonely at the top.
Alvinho from
It's lonely at the top.
I know.
They say what?
Arsenal, they were saying it's lonely at the top. We all saw how that
And they
ended.
went trophyless.
Alvinho from Akosobo says, in Ketia, Chelsea is really making money this window.
Yeah.
Hashtag Okreku must go. How did that sneak into your Chelsea comment? Abensuo from Spintex says, Caicedo plus Enzo is what?
Kayenzo.
Ay, Charlie.
Yeah, who be down? One echo down. We saw
yeah.
Kanzo. The Kukudu one, they're my all-time favorite.
Ah, Charlie. You let me
Is
go.
that Kukurea and Khalidu?
Mutala Tanku says, it's Friday and the boys are live. Please, when and which day? Hey, Charlie, what is he talking about?
Hey, what are you?
Okay, speak English. I can't see what you're saying.
I think he's asking what day our very good friend Seydou will join us. Charlie, Seydou is. Charlie, big man swear, yeah, you.
You know where Seydou Adamu is?
Yankee.
This is why it says Liverpool have got themselves a perfect and complete midfielder in Dominic Soboslai. Quadruple mode activated in Kingston from Kaswa. In Kingston to Boise. Yes, this one is from Abu Safiano from Ajay Kojo. Says, good evening, Ben and crew. In fact, my darling club United can shock. Oh, how do you spend 60 million on an average player like Mason Mount when you don't have a striker? This one here says, senior Panoramians. This is Jude inside Kakasunanka #1. I have my Bell Lab ready to receive the box of Puka. The mixing can't get much better. I have started building theories of accurate mixologies. It can get better than the sky. Right now, we are officially a problem. Farouk Headliner says Sevilla is liquidating. We need to get in on their keeper Yasin Bono. Aretha Bala Hadir is a no-no. And Hakim Ziyech too. What's up? Ziyech has failed
he's
the medical.
He's medical, because of a knee injury.
Crazy.
He's coming back to chess.
Charlie. Moses Kofi Noy.
Mummy and Kahazim, Hakim Ziyech, what, bro?
From being stranded at an airport to failing a medical. Nene George from Kumasi say, I always love coach's prayer. The whole has zip out. And as for Chelsea, I hope they know what they are doing. It appears the new owners have still not learnt. Abraham from Tantra Hill says, if Arsenal sign Declan Rice next season, the commentators would be like, Odegaard holding white rice. Abraham. Charlie, behave yourself. What is this? This one here is from Obuo from Tamale. Says, good evening, guys. You should let Kurt know that he succeeded Nyantechi. We've seen this type of attitude before, so he can't scare us. Butler, Ewa Nyameche, and Jaola Dems all can pass. So, Apostle, Ube. This is a coach naming phrase. Interesting. I'll come back to more messages there. Please send me your messages on Twitter. Tweet at me at Kojon Ketia. Use the hashtag Sports Panorama. Let's get into the Black Meteors. They have a game against Guinea that has just about kicked off. Nathan, let me start with Yao on this one. Yao, 5-1. We were hammered after escaping by the skin of our teeth in that first game.
Yeah.
Tanko has come under scrutiny. The team have come under scrutiny. Really, where do we lay the blame of this poor performance? And is there light at the end of it for us after 90 minutes today?
Well, Per, the way Tanko has set his team up, it's very difficult to say there's light at the end of the tunnel for Ghana, because if you drop your best player in
looks
the
like
tournament,
he's injured.
And it's Nyama. Yes, that was the rationale. That was the rationale I was thinking about, because at the end of the day,
it didn't make sense that your best.
Yeah, it didn't make sense that
his game.
He suffered a thigh injury in the last game, so he's not been able to train properly.
Yes, honestly, and so for me, I look at it looks like it. It looks like it. But after the first game, I mentioned to you, I think it was on Scorecard, that the level of concentration from the boys wasn't on point, because if you concede 2 goals in a matter of seconds, apart from each other, then there's something wrong, especially knowing very well you were very close to the finish line. And so for you to lose that level of concentration, it was unpardonable. It was a no-no. And on top of that, it's clear that our build-up is not consistent enough, and we rely on long balls and the pace of our wingers to be able to get in behind the defenders. But that will work against a naive Congo-Brazzaville team, but against a Moroccan side, it will be very difficult. And on top of that, we weren't that effective, and so it was very difficult to see Ghana beating Morocco. And I was just appalled. I wasn't too surprised that we lost to Morocco, but I was appalled by the performance, how Morocco just sliced and diced us up. One-touch football, running off the ball, level of concentration also fell flat. And the way they carved us up, it was just shocking. And the timing of the goals, it again goes back to the concentration bit. That's one of the things that people hammer, and you use it to criticize Eric
Came
Ten
through
Hag.
with the Black Stars. Concentration issues. It happened during every single game of the World Cup.
That you get you score a goal, you make it 3-1 for Morocco heading into halftime. Then 2 minutes after the halftime break, you concede a goal. 5 minutes after conceding that 4th goal, you concede a 5th goal. I mean, for me, it was very shocking.
Again, the question begs: is there a psychologist in camp?
It was very shocking, and for me, honestly, I believed Ibrahim Tanko in the first game. Yeah, he got his substitution right. The second game, I expected him to get a free Banya some minutes, because at the end of the day, when you play Abdul Fattah on the right side and you play Ernest Nyama on the left side, it makes it a bit clunky because both are left-footed players. And honestly, I believe Fattah would do better playing behind the striker, in this case, Emmanuel Yeboah. Then you give space on the right side for a guy like Efriye Banye. Yes, he hasn't been able to light this tournament or set it on fire. But at the end of the day, you need his work rate. You can turn him into a defensive striker, kind of the same thing that we've turned Jordan Ayew into. Because at the end of the day, you needed a little bit of protection, you needed a little bit of productivity, and you needed that tactical balance. Having Fatau Ishaku attack from the right side and a left-footed Ernest Nyama attack from the left side, it just doesn't work. It makes it a bit
So
too
this
clunky.
is all tactical.
Tactical. And on top of that, the selection. I mean, how do you tell me that a guy like Terry Yegbe gets selected into this team ahead of Midiame's Nuruddin Abdullahi?
Don't you know who Yegbe represents?
I know. He played for Vision FC. He played for Vision FC before moving out to Finland. Okay, I get it.
Played any of the qualifiers.
Nuruddin Abdullahi, excellent player for Midiama, helped Midiama to win its first ever Ghana Premier League title. How is it that this guy didn't make it to the national under 23 side? How is it that Bechem United's Clinton Jodu didn't make it to this team? How? When you want the best wingers in Ghana who are under 23, Clinton Dodu would definitely make the cut. How is it that this guy didn't make it into this team?
So FC player, Vision FC player, he will be in the team.
So when you look at it clear all round, you cut it from start to finish, from top to bottom. There were a lot of things that we missed out on. And on top of that, he played Ibrahim Tanko in the first game. He played Sylvester Simba as the guy behind our lead striker. Sylvester Simba is a nice midfielder, but in that position,
telling me the boy I've watched there, he's not nice.
For Dreams, he's a nice midfielder. Relax. For Dreams, he's a nice midfielder. He's cute and all, but play him in that position behind the striker. You need a guy like Fatau. I think his skills are best served in that position than Sylvester Simba. Then you get the chance to move a free Ebanye to the wings and have Emmanuel Yeboah be your arrowhead. And Ibrahim Tanko got that wrong. So for me, there are a lot of things that have gone wrong with this team, and I just hope and pray maybe there's a miracle out there somewhere that we're able to grasp onto and make it to the semi-finals. Other than that, I don't see anything positive coming out from the Black Meteors.
Let me take coach's thoughts on that team, because I'm sure you have watched them play over 2 games now.
Yes, I have.
Where do you begin to diagnose the problem of this team? Is it a player mentality thing? Is it a preparation thing? Is it... Because when I watched us purely, I felt like we lacked organization in literally every aspect of the game.
And Nketia, it hurts, but I'll say it. I'm always of the view that when it comes to matters of national importance, I don't do nepotism to it. You can be my wife, my
your Lily
daughter,
or whatever.
I would tell you.
Thank you.
I don't think the team is being properly coached, and that is shocking to me.
Simple.
I don't think they are being properly coached. Because if we are being properly coached, the sort of errors that is being shown, but the shape of the team would not happen. Would definitely not occur. Because at the end of the day, we were in that first match against what? Congo.
Yep.
We were cruising until the last 5 minutes.
It became a nervous encounter for us.
It became very nervous because at that time, even the technical team thought that we were home and dry. We just sat there. We're 3-0. Go and watch. After 3-0, we saw our coaches all sitting down.
And they made 3 substitutions in the 87th minute.
Who does that?
In that heat,
those are the agency players. We are home and dry, so they have to come and play like 5 minutes.
The substitutions should have been made earlier to maintain the intensity.
See, that is the agency players. We are comfortable in the leagues. It's an opportunity to throw them in there for them to have a feel of it. You don't coach a national team like that. Now, when the people of this country speak as a technical man, you don't like they were so much concerned about what we were saying that he had to change the face of the team. Look, I agree that Efriye Barnier has not gone to the tournament or didn't go to this tournament in the best of shapes because of what is happening at club level. But I think he understands the chemistry of the team better. So I was completely against him being benched in that game against Morocco.
He's a pivotal.
Yes, he's the
player
captain
for this
of the team. Yeah. You see, if your captain has a bad day,
it's beyond just football.
Just one game. If your captain has a bad day, the next moment he's on the bench. A proper coach or a coach who is in charge will not do that. Put that aside. Now, if you look at even in midfield, no, before I address the issue of midfield, there is a Yako boy. He's not been developed though. I don't think he's been developed at Sporting Lisbon.
Coach, but you are the manager. At the point where Fatawu Issahaku is at this current stage in his career, what can Sporting really do to his development?
You see, it is very simple. He should be told when to do what. He's a talented player. But it is like he feels everywhere, anywhere he stands, he's capable of doing
maybe
anything.
He's been given the license to do it.
And that is a wrong way to do it. Whoever is telling him that the person is not helping the development of the ball. We know he's got power in his legs. We know he's got good technical ability. But if he scores from the center and the goalkeeper was off his line and you score, it doesn't mean you should be shooting by heart everywhere or flat shot by heart.
It's his thing.
What is that?
It's really frustrating to watch.
And as a coach, at least he's got good power. So you should now be telling him that, look, demarcate areas for him. When you are here, you are playing for the team. Let it go. Contribute. Build it up. Now, as you are part of the build up, then you are trying to push yourself where now you can be of great importance using your technical ability. But you see the man, when he's on the touchline, he's shooting. On the center line, he's shooting. He's shooting. Everywhere.
He wants to shoot even out of the dressing room.
In the dressing room.
He's so frustrating to watch.
That's what I'm saying. He's because if I'm the manager, he shoots unnecessarily. I'm off my bench, and look, my voice alone will tell him never to repeat that. And I demarcate if he fails to obey, I pull him out quick, and I tell him that because of A, B, C, D, you repeat that, you are no longer part of this team. So we need the team to be properly coached. But you see, at the end of the day, if even the selection of players into the team, if it was not done fairly, we've gone to another tournament, not taking some important players at the expense of others. Yegbe meje. Yegbe. No more. Ebomode. He's benching somebody who is far better than him. He's only in this team because it is Vision FC player or Secrets. That's why he's there. He's not better than the Diama center back. You are always repeating these things. And we are being disgraced. Look, if the team does not qualify, I'll be the first person to ask my good friend to resign. Tanko will have to step aside because he will be there. He would have been there for close to 6 years, 7 years? No. And to the people at the FA, we will not accept another first round exit. We will not accept that. So the Simba, the Yegbes, the Bebes, if they are not supposed to be there, don't take them there. Why is it that the taxpayers' money is being used to maintain and then to do something? But your selfish interest is always overriding and overpowering what is in the interest of this country. Look, tactically, we are playing against a very difficult team. A team I consider to be even more difficult to play against than the Moroccans. Because physically they are there, technically they are there, and they have proven in the 2 games, I'm talking about the Guineans, they've proven in the 2 games they've played that they have what it takes to beat the Black Meteors of Ghana today.
Morocco needed 2 penalties to beat them.
The
second one was very controversial.
Very controversial.
That penalty.
That is the extent to which we have to. And look, you and I know, of late, when we have to play for a result.
Yeah,
it doesn't go well.
You know.
Updates. It's 14 minutes played in the game. So Morocco lead Congo by a goal to 0. It's goalless between Ghana and Guinea still.
Yeah.
And as it stands, Guinea are going through.
Well,
Pichichi.
Ben, a quick one on the Black Meteors.
Okay.
Quick one. For me, I think that Nathan highlighted a very good point that for Ibrahim Tanko, this match is more of his future. And I think that he's one of the coaches that over the years have been touted to be a future Black Stars coach. See, for me, I think that this is a game where he has that chance to convince us. We've seen how a coach, a fine
In
coach,
fact,
a
just before
fine
you
coach.
go on, he did something that I completely disagree with. When we considered the fourth goal and the fifth goal, he just went and sat there.
He's given up.
Completely thrown in the towel.
He's given up.
It could have been 6, it could have been 7, it could have been 8, it could have been 9. You don't do that as a coach.
Because when you do that, you'll definitely reflect on your players.
And that was what we saw. I was like, wow.
We've seen how a fine coach like, I think it's Bashir Hayford, right? At the moment, he's unemployed. Right after the women's Alcon, we've seen how, when it comes to national team football, he's no more closer to any of our national teams. And it tells you that for Ghanaians, the moment you are given that sort of opportunity to show what you are made of, and persistently you let Ghanaians down, it gets to a point where no one even makes a case for you. And so for Tanko, it's important. He's been around the Black Meteors. I think for the first failure in 2019, we alluded to the penalty shootouts howler. Now, I've listened to him in a 2 games. See, he's blamed the organizers for poor scheduling. He's blamed his players for giving too much respect to the Moroccans. He's blamed fatigue for some of the players and their performances. But himself, no blame yet. But clearly, as coach alluded to, our team
it's not being well coached.
It's so obvious. Defensively, there's no organization. There's no leadership.
We played against the Moroccans not knowing what they would do. How can you
and there was this huge hole.
It was so obvious. Everyone was it was so obvious. Yeah, he dropped him for like.
He dropped Emmanuel Essien. He didn't
So
start
no
Emmanuel
proper
Essien.
The Moroccans were having it. They couldn't. I'm sure they couldn't believe what they were watching.
Exactly. I'm surprised. Tactically, the coach cost us, but he would rather blame other factors and not blame himself. And for me, it's important he wins this game to save his own future with national teams. Because I think after this failure, if he fails tonight, I don't think anyone here will make a case for him anymore.
After this failure, that will mean what? An AFCON group stage exit, a World Cup group stage
That's
exit,
what I said. We will not
an under
accept
23 group stage exit.
no
Come on,
qualification
man.
under 20.
No, that.
Banned women's. Come on, man. I don't know if anybody at the FA appreciates how quickly our football is sinking. It's like we are on a hill and we are literally on like a free fall. We are just going, and the rest of and the sad thing is the rest of our neighbors are now tightening their belts.
We've been left behind.
Everybody's actually now tightening
We
up.
are 15 years behind.
Let me in line with this might look like a different tangent, right? But it's kind of related to this. We've seen in this transfer, I'm sure we'll talk transfers in a second. We've seen all the hype, right? Around Declan Rice. Harry Kane, if you like. Maybe James Maddison, Mason Mount, Victor Osimhen. You see the hype around these players. And you ask yourself a question. That why is it that Ghanaian players never get this kind of hype? And I'm just jumping on something you said about people have left us behind. Because even if you look at, for example, Nigeria, then look at the traction a player like Victor Osimhen has on social. Go to Nigeria, follow Nigerian Twitter, for example, and just check out how these players are, how do I even say, like sculpting their image and building their brands properly. They are deliberate about what they do, where they are, where they go, who's in their circle, who's handling their PR. So even at that minute level, Ghanaians are behind. Just look at your typical Ghanaian player. Think about it. We have Thomas Partey playing for Arsenal. When you look at all of us here, we are journalists. Do we sense the hype around Thomas Partey?
No.
Do we?
No, we don't have
Nope.
Do we? No.
For a guy who is one of the top central midfielders in the EPL and in the world, I don't think he gets enough hype. It doesn't match.
And it goes from him to a lot of the other players. And it's all about, Ben was talking about we've been left behind, not only on the pitch, but even off the pitch. Even at that minute individual level, a lot of us are left behind. Why? Because we are not doing the right things. Players are not surrounding themselves with the correct people. Ben, think about it. Look, I always say this, and last time I was having a chat with somebody, and I made a point. I said, listen, half the amount of transfer fees quoted for English players, that their half is all hype.
Image.
When you
Right.
half of it is not, I'm not even talking about the technicalities, but half of it is hype. Ask any British journalist, and we have friends, you can ask them whether or not, if for example, if Bayern Munich says they want Harry Kane for £100 million, every British journalist will give you reasons why Harry Kane is worth £100 million. It may be true, it may not be true. 80 million pounds. So the point I'm making is that we are being left, and even down to the minute things, even player branding. Players are not surrounding themselves with the right people. Think about it, Ben. We have Didier Drogba in his pomp. Look at his mates, the Ghanaians who played with him. Michael Essien, for him, he's a little shy. But think about a lot of our players. Lots of our players are not even getting featured in the biggest things. Take some of the magazines, GQ, 442, whatever.
Cosmopolitan
Players,
complex. Like, this is
players,
where you need to be.
See, that's why players need to get themselves there. Players need to find proper, not your childhood friend you grew up with, who's your man. Yeah, it's great. But you see, at a certain level, you need other people to hold your hand and expose you to the bigger, because see, those bigger things will command, they add to your reputation. So if your club says you are worth 100 million, the team looks at you and says, it is true, look at this guy's profile. So we really need to start doing things far better than we are doing as a country, how we even groom footballers. We are talking about Ibrahim Tanko. If he fails tonight, do we have a replacement? No, we'll recycle. Man, you are saying it. We'll recycle.
I like that.
As if you are playing cards. As if you are playing cards. Do you know that if you have cards and you play 10 rounds with your friends, by the time you are done, everybody would have used the same.
Exactly.
It's the same thing. And we put the coaches in this wheel of fortune. We spin it.
One clear example is Karim Zito. I think Karim Zito has been reshuffled.
He's part of why is he?
Reshuffled over.
Mr. Tracking and Getting Free.
Tracking and Getting Free. Karim Zito, he has been recycled almost everywhere.
Very, very
We
winnable.
have to do
Very
we
winnable.
have to do better.
Part of the nepotism.
We have to do better as a country.
Capital.
We need to get the coach. We need to get a new generation of coaches coming in.
I will technical director.
Lepet.
Oh, he's still looking for DNA if you're ready.
I heard the DNA.
He has finished
with the DNA, so very
He has
soon.
finished constructing the identity of Ghana
soon,
football.
our DNA is
No, Ashile also recently we recently interviewed him.
He cannot.
He also said Ghana lacks an identity.
He cannot.
Lepet has found it.
He cannot make that document
Without
public.
the input.
I dare the FA to this matter.
Why can't he make it public? He hasn't spoken to him.
I have seen the document. He has not referenced anybody.
Insider coach name.
There's no reference. You cannot create an identity for Ghana and not reference Oti Akinde. Don't go and talk to Kwesi Appiah. You don't go and talk to people who understands the way the Ghanaian player does his things. Has he coached any of our Ghanaian players before? Nope. Has he coached Asam? Go to the people who coach Asam Wajan.
Shapiro.
Go and talk. You cannot reference Coach Shapiro, the one who unearthed the talent of Asam Wajan.
You can't.
I'm saying that I dare them to bring that document.
Let's talk some transfers now. Let's talk about Dominic Soboslai. Oh, Charlie.
Sobo.
Coach, cool down. Cool down. But all of the players you've been having, have they played the EPL before?
Mason Mount. A proven EPS star.
Who does what?
Mason Mount.
He does everything.
He does everything. Well,
okay, Soboslai. Thank you. Hungarian international. I think it's 22 years or 21 years now. Can play as a central midfielder, as a central attacking midfielder, as a right-sided midfielder, or as a left-sided midfielder. Again,
then he's multifunctional.
As a false nine. He is a certified, bona fide, dead ball expert.
Nice one.
And yet, you say free kick once every 20 games. If you put 5 free kicks there, Soboslai will deliver 3.
Boss, false hope. Mr. Avle is listening to the program.
Avle-
Don't give him false hope.
It is not false hope.
Yo.
You see, the evidence is there. If Soboslai picks up a ball from 40 yards and you don't close him down, in your own words,
Yeah, exactly.
Shroud. It's a yummy.
Then for a season where Liverpool have lost lots of midfielders,
Yeah.
from the James Milners to the Navigators and the Oxlade-Chamberlains and the favorite, one of your favorite, Atamelo and all that.
Why is Henderson
I-
not gone?
Exactly. I think I like what Liverpool is doing in terms of getting midfielders who fit in the profile. I look at the stats around Dominic Szoboszlai and all that. 163 open play shots in terms of what he's done in the Bundesliga. 49 shots from himself, 48 chances created,
One season.
66 in the build-up from last season. And he's the fourth highest figure to do that in the Bundesliga. There, he created a total of 71 chances, and so
And he
that's more than
scored
any
how
other
many?
player
He
in the
scored how many?
Bundesliga and all that. He played 31 times for them last season as well, scored 6 and made 8 assists as well.
Over the
And
bar, You're over the bar, so
He's going to play with quality players. Thank you.
I look at his profile and I think that for me, with what Liverpool have lost and what they are bringing in, it makes sense. McAllister, Dominic Szoboszlai, Fabinho,
Kefren Turam loaded.
exactly.
Thank
So
you.
you look at the profile of the
Thank
players.
you.
I think that they're fitting into the Liverpool style, so it's key for them. It's unlike the
That's
Mason.
high
It's
octane.
unlike the Mason Mount deal.
What are you
Oh yes,
talking about?
see.
How?
Oh yes, see. You look at the Mason Mount Man United deal.
Okay.
Mason Mount Man United deal and the Dominic Liverpool deal. Dominic fits into the Liverpool system
mention the name.
rather
What
than
Dominic is?
Mason Mount in the United
Szoboszlai.
system.
Hey, mention the name. What's Dominic?
Szoboszlai.
Szoboszlai.
Mention the name.
You see,
I'm
coach,
shocked
so,
at
coach,
what you are
see,
saying.
you may not want to admit it.
Let me
You may-
assure you
coach,
how
coach,
Mason
you may not
Mount
want to
fits
admit
into
it,
Eric Ten
but
Hag's
clearly,
Let him finish.
See,
Let him finish. I'll give you
see.
a chance.
So for me, I think I don't call me this move.
Thank
It's a
you.
good one for Klopp,
70
despite the fact
million.
that this season Liverpool have been
There is
restricted
cash.
a little. But I think that he needs to add more. City is a reference point, so he needs to try to get more players. to
Especially
come in.
I mean,
and all that.
There's
what
cash.
I will say,
I'm surprised Nimble wants to defend Mason Mount.
I'll get to him on that.
what I will say about Dominic Szoboszlai, for me, it's just the physicality, and I've come to understand something that if you want to play in Klopp's midfield, you need to have lungs and legs, and I think he does that because, I mean, if you run through his numbers, he was doing close to an average of 32 sprints per 90. That's a player who loves to run around a lot. And we can tell that Klopp's teams love to play at tempo.
He fits in.
And look, I always say that to kind of disagree or counter Pichichi slightly, I don't think any manager buys a player who he doesn't think fits into their system. So even though Mason Mount may not sound like star
Sexy.
quality,
He's not sexy.
and may not, and personally, he would be the last player on my shopping list.
True. Same here.
When I look at his profile and what he does, I kind of understand why Eric Ten Hag was trying to sign him. This, in my mind, this was
That's what a player. Chigrinsky. We never needed him.
that's okay. You can make that point.
Which coach bought that player you're talking
Pep
about?
Guardiola.
You know,
I can't believe you actually brought that up.
you know. So look, when I look at Eric Ten Hag,
Even Thomas Tuchel did the same with Lukaku. He did the same with
You can
Lukaku.
buy a player you don't need.
you see, you can buy a player and misapply the player. In a few cases,
David Moyes
players
and Skamaka.
players have been look. I have colleagues in Italy who tell me David Moyes doesn't know anything, and that because if he understood how to use Gianluca Scamacca, things would have been different. You understand? So back to the point. Szoboszlai, I think, makes sense for what Klopp does, and for me, like I said, the biggest standout when I just watch the player and I go through his numbers is the fact that he can run, and Klopp loves his midfield runners. And that's important.
I mean, look, let me just say this before Coach wasting on Mason Mount. I mean, look, in the beginning, I was just going off and up. Szoboszlai, for me, solves a big problem for Liverpool. Now, if you watch how Liverpool play under Klopp, Liverpool's main creation or creativity comes from the wide players. Now, in every game where Trent and Robertson have been neutralized, or when Trent has so much defensive work to do that he barely has any opportunities to bomb for it, Liverpool typically draw those games or lose those games. Now, that's where a guy like Szoboszlai gives you an advantage. Like I mentioned, he can thread a pass. He's not afraid of playing the killer pass one. He, like Nathan said, runs around a lot. He's a big guy. He's about 6'4". Very big guy and very mobile for somebody who is that big. What I love the most about him is his long-range shooting ability. And I think that's something that Liverpool will need a lot, because Klopp's teams have always struggled to break down teams that sit back in a low block. He can strike from 30 yards. He can strike from 40 yards. If you get a dead ball, and I wasn't joking about that. If I've seen this guy, his free kick scoring rate is very high. Crazy. If you put 5 free kicks there, I bet you he's scoring 2 of them at least. And so he's just a player who gives Liverpool a different dimension. 70 million to activate the release clause is a bit high.
But that's the release clause.
You want the player. And like Coach likes to say, there's cash. Coach, no more. Mason Mount, 60 million. What are you building?
Exactly.
What are you building for 60 million?
I am shocked if anybody says Mason Mount is not required at Man United.
For 60 million?
He's a British player. For 60 million, the tax component alone takes half of that money. You and I know.
Tax and hype.
60 million for a 24-year-old, I'll pay all day. For a 24-year-old who is an established, put it on record, he's an established Premier League player.
1 year left on his contract?
I'll pay.
Why would you wait and just get him for free?
Arsenal is going to pay 100 and something million for Declan Rice, who also has 1 year left on his contract.
No, he doesn't even have one.
For me, if you look at what Eric Ten Hag has done, it would be very naive if you sit here and say he will not fit into Eric Ten Hag's plan. Mason Mount comes in there and he solves a major problem in this.
What is he solving?
The major
It's an upgrade
problem.
on Christian Eriksen.
I've not even spoken.
Did you see the latter part of? Did you see
not as a number 10?
Not necessarily in terms of the
Did you see the
skill
performance
level.
of
But the point
Christian
is,
Eriksen the latter part of
You
the
wait.
season?
You wait.
Dropped off.
Mount passes the ball very well. He will give you goals from. We are talking as if we've forgotten how many goals he scored from midfield for Chelsea. He will give you. Nathan talks about a player who runs around. Sabola in a journey. Go to Messi Mount. Soboska, you Sabola.
Don't do this.
I'm not doing that. I'm mentioning the name.
Soboslai.
Messi Mount.
You hear it a lot when the ball hits the net.
Mount equally runs around. Nathan, you should be saying that for a fact.
No, but I mean, you can make
runs
that
around.
point. I've made that.
Messi Mount, listen, Messi Mount, you see, he's not the flamboyant type of player that you easily noticed. But I'm not sure coaches like Toto Alote.
To be honest, I mean, Mason Mount's best years at Chelsea were actually under Tuchel.
I'm not sure Thomas Tuchel that I know would have given Mason Mount the sort of playing time he gave him
if he were a bad
if
player.
he was a bad player. And for me, I trust
Ten Hag.
Eric Ten Hag. I trust him all day, no more. All day. All day.
I'm marking this down.
As for coach,
Now it's Messi. Look, Messi Mount simply cannot flop. Hey, 24-year-old. England international.
but
he's been brought up in that league. He's an established Premier League player.
This is what I want to find out. I want to find out. Pichichi, why? Pichichi, I'm just curious. Why do you think Mount is a bad choice for Man United?
He solves the Eriksen problem. Look, Eriksen has never been a number 8. And that's why we've seen how uncomfortable he's been throughout, especially in the latter part. He was just not.
Just a quick question: Is Mount an elite 8? Does he? Does he?
This is it.
He's
Look,
a
let me show you.
high pressing.
If you go through, if you look through Mount's matrices or the numbers, he's between us. Some people say a 7. Maybe my own personal biases will say 6.5. I don't know, but across several matrices, I think he does well across several matrices.
No, he does very well.
The reason why, again, it is my own personal
I think the
bias.
Black Meteors have just scored.
I'm a bomber, then I'm a winning game out.
The Black Meteors have just scored.
Okay, what I will say, okay. Anyway, what I will say though about, like I said, for me, the profile I can understand the profile of the player. Maybe Mason Mount as a person doesn't excite a lot of me, and that he doesn't even excite me anyway. Maybe if he were Spanish, he would excite me because of my own suspicions about English players. But when I look at his profile, and I say this, for a player to have thrived well under Thomas Tuchel, knowing Tuchel as we all do know him, you cannot be a horrible player and do well under Thomas Tuchel. So I think there is a player in there. Mason Mount's last season at Chelsea was horrible. That's a fact. It was pathetic, really poor. It is Ten Hag who now has to find a tune out of the player, and he has to bring him back to that point. Because if the two teams have agreed a fee, the medical will happen, the player will eventually sign, barring unforeseen circumstances.
You know, Ten Hag normally plays 4-3-3. 4-3-3, you normally have Casemiro as the pivot. Then on either side of him, you have Bruno Fernandes and Mason Mount. It works. And at the end of the day, he's an all-action midfielder, kind of like Bruno Fernandes. And we saw how Man United struggle when Bruno Fernandes looked fatigued.
High pressing 8.
High pressing 8.
Talking of Sabuska.
We've noted all the
Sabuska Joe Sabulai. He shoots this. He does that. He does that.
The whistle. See, next season is not foul.
But like I said,
next
guys,
season is not foul.
like I said, you see, like I said, I understand the reason for that. Maybe the player in question may not excite all of us. But I kind of understand the reason. I understand the profile of the player.
The whistle will go.
Oh, yeah.
The ball must be on the ground.
Remember, Marcel Sabitzer, his loan has ended. He's gone back to Bayern Munich.
He's the original Sobola.
He's gone back to Bayern Munich. And so you need a replacement. And if you have Mason Mount in there, it helps out. No, look, think about it. Think about it.
So Emmanuel Yeboah giving Ghana the lead against Guinea. 99 ideas.
Champion striker.
Man on fire. That's goal number 3 for him in the tournament.
Yes. They need to win.
Quick shout outs before we go. I want to say a happy belated birthday properly to Jules. Lady Balu.
Lady J.
A.K.A.
Red Diva.
Juliet Bewa.
Champion lady.
Why you need
Champion lady.
Quick shouts from the guys, coach.
I radio.
Shout out,
Pichichi. Your researchers don't want shout outs. God is watching.
Shout out to Gillette Bill as well. I think.
Respect yourself.
Oh yeah.
Respect yourself.
Big shouts to and a big happy belated birthday to Alex Crampa inside Castle. So yeah, happy belated birthday, Alex.
Nice one there. Monsieur Crampa, take your shout out, Nathan.
Oh no, I mean I don't have any.
Big shout outs to all the listeners of Sports Panorama.
Yeah, we appreciate them.
You guys make this show really a good one. So big shout outs to Sam Ziga as well. He's in town.
Yeah.
Sam Ziga is in town. Sam Ziga.
Also, save everything that was said about Sabola and Mason Mount. Save it.
This show is there.
Thank you.
We'll come back.
Thank you very much, Coach Nimli. Thank you very much, Pichichi. Thank you, Yao. And thank you, Nathan, as well. My name is Benjamin Nketiah. It has been great coming your way. The show will be on Spotify and will be on our Twitter handle, so you can catch a repeat of it if you missed it. So we'll rerun tomorrow as well. We'll be back same time next week. Show proudly brought to us by Bell Beverages and Shell Helix. Lubricants mu in Koswo Hene. We are out.